Have you always secretly been dreaming of owning a BMW X6, but it's too expensive or maybe too large for the area you live in? Well, the all-new BMW X2 is now, so to speak, a small BMW X6, and we have it in different versions, different powertrains. In this very review, we will drive the X2 M35i, the top spec in the combustion engine trim, versus the top all-wheel drive electric model, and then see how it plays out. How do they compare? Everything you need to know about this new generation with Thomas Nautico in full HD. Wait a minute, we're in 4K now. In 4K, full screen, full length. Let's go with the front, with a large double kidney here. Also optional with the iconic glow. That is here this illumination around the kidney. This is here also styling-wise the M Performance model, the M35i of the X2. So you have this more aggressive look, a lot of high gloss black paint here. And this is also an individual BMW color. It's called Frozen Tampa Bay green. Wow, yeah, that is definitely screaming out, isn't it? Then the headlamps, you can see these are with these blue accentuations, the optional adaptive LED lamps. Here the daytime running light on the outside, main headlamp unit on the inside, and more sporty accentuations that would also appear when you have the M Sport package. Then here, wheels. These are 20-inch wheels. Overall, the portfolio is 17 up to 21, but these ones are already really sporty. It will be very crucial if they deliver enough comfort, because suspension-wise, you get a base suspension or the adaptive M suspension. But I have to say, BMW, I found it a little bit misleading calling it adaptive M, because to me, an adaptive suspension is always adjustable from the inside. You can pick the sport mode, then it gets stiffer. You go for comfort mode and it gets softer. That's not the case here actually. It is adaptive in a way of passive adaptive. They are frequency selective dampers. That mean they react on the different impact they get, like quick or soft, and then they automatically adapt. But that means you cannot adjust it. So this one, since it is the M Performance model, does have the adaptive M suspension, and we'll tell you later when we drive the vehicle if that's fine for comfort or not. Length, 4 meters 55 or 179 inches, and that means it is actually 19 centimeters or 8 inches longer than the predecessor. It has grown massively, also slightly in wheelbase, and it's now also a little bit longer than the BMW X1 brother, 5 centimeters or 2 inches longer. But the styling, you can see the X2 has always been about this coupe styling. It's way more stretched now in this very area, and a really strong hip area you can see right there. And yeah, I always love this frozen paint, especially because when you hug or pet the vehicle, you can hear that actually. Look at that aggressive rear here, of course. When you have an M Sport package or the M Performance model, then it's even more aggressive, especially with the black accentuations in the lower part here with the diffuser style. And then real exhaust, I mean, massive. This is still a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine, and that looks like a V8 or something, doesn't it? They are real. Then the new graphic for the tail lamps, like really, technology style, I would call that way, so not smooth at all. And then here the M35i has this huge rear wing that is also once again having that black contrast. Would you prefer rather a more subtle version, or do you like here the M35i style? Tell me in the comments. By the way, aerodynamics has also been improved, now at 0.25 in the CD value, and also, I mean, that's quite obvious, especially if Leah comes around like here, like this really straight view here. The track is also wider now, and that gives you a bigger stance on the road, and probably also more driving dynamics. We'll find out very soon. Ooh, turning indicators, look at that, how they replace the daytime running light, and they also have this pulsing effect like a heartbeat. Some actually do like that, but I've also read comments that some find this pulsing effect rather weird. What do you think? And in the rear, the indicators replace a part of the light. Quite fancy, isn't it? As for the engine lineup, this is the top spec 2-liter 4-cylinder, here also with the separate dome strut, M badge on there for the M35i. This one here, 300 horsepower in Europe, 317 horsepower on the Northern American market, 5.4 seconds in the acceleration figure, and all-wheel drive. There's like front plus rear on demand. This is the quickest model out there, the most powerful one. The next in line would actually be the iX2, the all-electric version, at 5.6 seconds in the acceleration figure, powered by a 65 kilowatt-hour battery. That's not too large in the electric segment overall, you have to say. Other combustion engine versions would be a 2-liter 4-cylinder diesel or a weaker petrol engine, a 3-cylinder 1.5-liter turbo petrol engine if you want it a little bit more affordable. And very interesting, whereas in Europe they leave an engine gap between the 1.5-liter 3-cylinder and the X2 M35i, in the US you can also get the 28i. This is also then a 2-liter 4-cylinder with 245 horsepower, 6.5 seconds in the acceleration figure, so that gap is filled. But actually in the US, that is then the entry-level petrol engine, whereas the 1.5-liter 3-cylinder is not available there. That is then the entry-level engine in the European market. This one here, by the way, also an M35i, but here in frozen Portimao blue. Also matte color, also one of my favorite ones. It looks so striking. Also then here once again with the super large wheels. These ones are the biggest ones, 21. So an even more striking look. Tell me in the comments which color would you pick today actually. Maybe you've seen it or maybe you wondered. This is here a BMW CE02 or 02, and it's an electric motorcycle, electric scooter in a motorcycle style. So they're doing that meanwhile as well. Maybe some of you know that I also have a motorcycle background. I actually started driving motorcycles before I was driving cars because I was starting to ride motocross when I was, I think, 13 or something. Yeah, and then also motorcycles on the street and so on. There is actually one or two reviews of motorcycles also on our channel, but of course we haven't, invested much in that. It's usually all about cars here on Autogefühl. Key fob here with M colors in the M Performance version, flush door handles, but they still give you a haptic feedback to open and close. By the way, you hold your hand right here, then it closes, or you put your hand underneath, then it opens with this keyless function. Then door closing sound is okay, nothing special I have to say. Then inside, this is soft touch. Then here we have a microfiber version. Different versions are available. Also cool here from the optional Harman Kardon sound system, this speaker design. Soft touch also here, but then hardback here, and there's also no inside covering, so there's no felt or whatsoever. Then this one, being the M35i, also gets the M Sport steering wheel with the contrast stitches on the inside. That looks pretty fancy. Oh, and also these shifting pedals here with plus and minus. That's cool. Then the seats, they are sport seats or comfort seats in general. You have fabric available. You have a high-grade leatherette available, for example. This one, however, is then the sport seat with the microfiber. So these come also with the integrated head restraint, and then here on the top part you can see there's like this perforated microfiber, and the colors of the M badge here, these different 3 colors, they shine through this perforation. That is a lovely job indeed. So the high-grade leatherette is also very soft, so-called Veganza material, and here some with the microfiber. Well, the sport is actually quite firm. So far so good, but I think the softest version would indeed be the high-grade leatherette version if you want like the best seating comfort in that respect. Steering wheel with a manual control, up and down, in and out, and also the whole process is also pretty smooth. I like that. And on the steering wheel you still have real buttons to set the cruise control, for example, or here for the volume. I really prefer to have that. And interesting for all European viewers here, there is this secret hotkey, which no one should know about, to cancel these speed warnings every time, when you're going like 1 kilometer an hour, just too quick, and like bing, bing, bing. Press and hold the set button, then it's deactivated. Then I'm mentioning it in that review might also lead to the regulators disallowing that, but at least when you have that vehicle here, then you know how to deactivate it when you have just bought it. And headroom here without a panoramic roof, really a lot left with 189 6x2. Interior cockpit overview, 10.25 on the left, 10.7 screen on the right. Here, also with the microfiber insert as a deco element, but different deco elements are available here as well. The vents are still controlled manually. And the steering wheel, from this perspective again, you see the sportiness here, for example, also with the 12 o'clock marking in the lower part. That's very interesting. You basically have a seat belt for your smartphone because there's the inductive charging pad and then it's being held tight. And also on the back part, there are cooling holes that it doesn't overheat. Just see the cup holders, they are not adaptive, and then this is happening. So yeah, they need to fix this. Flying middle console with space underneath, and on the console you have the shifting lever, reverse drive mode, and for example here you can click for the driving modes. Glad to still at least have the manual volume jog. And I wondered, what am I supposed to put in here? Well, obviously not a smartphone, maybe a handkerchief. So the driving mode selection, you have to press in the middle console and then you have to switch and press in the screen to access the sport mode. But then this screen is staying. For example, then if you want to switch back to the GPS, you have to press nav again. Then you're back here, for example, at this navigation system. This is the car internal one. You can see it's actually quite responsive. This is OS... This is because the car has turned itself off now to save the battery. This is OS 9 now actually, so a new software version for that. And we, for example, also have Apple CarPlay. There's a hotkey here in the lower part. There we go. This is the CarPlay integration. The Harman Kardon sound system, by the way, is pretty decent. That's a good, rich sound indeed. Very three-dimensional as well. So like that, and the rest of the BMW internal Jeep system here. So this is then the main menu with all the apps, and I think once again it's just an app overload. Like, where am I supposed to find what? Live vehicle is always good for like consumption and so on. Digital instruments. When the car is running, you can always select the content you want to see, but you can also switch the whole layout of that system here. For example, this more classic view like this, or then this half view maybe. And one of my favorite features is always that when you have Apple Maps in Apple CarPlay, you can also have it here, the view in the instruments. BMW is the only manufacturer to offer that so far, at least what I have seen, and really with the map integration. That works with Google Maps when you have Android Auto, but Google Maps in Apple CarPlay, that combination does not work like here. And there's also a head-up display. It's a rear one projected into the windscreen. Now to the rear compartment. First of all, rear door closing sound. I would say it's okay, nothing special. But what's special is that even in the rear doors, we have here the soft covering here. Then also these microfiber inserts in the M Performance version. Softer here, just in the very low part. It's hard pack. And then we also have the microfiber version and for the rear seats. It's being said, well, it's not being said, it's fact, it actually has a longer wheelbase, but does that translate into more legroom than before? So before we hardly had any legroom in the X2. Now it's not abundant, but you see here, when I put my knees in this recess, then it works with tall adults, even if a tall adult is driving. These sport seats, of course, are very voluminous as well. So yeah, but then you have to put your knees like this, a little bit like this would not work that well. And headroom exactly fits with 189, a 6x2, that's really close, but works. Yeah, but overall the comfort is actually quite fine. Then you can also fold the seats from here. You have to do it from here with these straps here. And then you can also see here, put it a little bit more upright or fold it down completely. And you can also do the same with this middle part here for a ski hatch, or pull this one down. Then you have adaptive cup holders here. And in the middle console, you have two USB-C chargers. Is it also possible that I sit on the middle part? Oh, these rear floor mats, they fly around easily as well. So, middle part sitting is, that is close in every respect, so not to be recommended, rather for 4. To open the hatch here, you have to flip the logo. That looks quite fancy, doesn't it? And now, let's imagine you're discussing at home if you go for the all-electric version, the 3-cylinder mild hybrid, or here the top performance version. You could say, wait a minute, the M35i has the largest luggage volume with 560 liters, 90 liters more than before, width 1.40 meters. The length here, slightly less, like 90 centimeters or 35 inches, so well usable. And you can see when I get out the luggage, then you can also see the difference, because here this one doesn't have a battery in the rear, so there is much space underneath the left. Look at that. And here, this is a cool feature. Have you seen that? It stays up here, so you can easily load everything in here and then put it down again. So this is a very good solution. And you can also fold the seats individually there, like one. Welcome to Thomas's Active Driving Lounge with the BMW X2 M35i. My mode, clicking here, Sport mode here. If I want to use the launch control, please don't repeat, not on public roads. Here, Driving Dynamics, Sport to Sport Plus. Then it's also possible for the launch control mode. I can also put here to the S shifting mode. Now I'm done. And when I now hit the brake pedal with my left foot and the accelerator pedal with my right foot, this happens. There we go. Plop. That went quick. The only thing is that when I have the launch control active, then you cannot see that speed in the middle part, so that's a little bit irritating, at least to you as a viewer. So yeah, maybe that you can see the speed. I'll just slow down a little bit and make like this rolling start. Then you can see speed and how quickly it accelerates. So let's go again. Plop, there we go. That was 290. Yeah, you heard the Lear meter was also active somewhat. And now, wow, this is what this car is doing best. Driving sporty, it's compact, it's light in comparison to other bigger SUVs and so on. Wow, the steering here gives me a good feeling, way better, for example, in the BMW 3 Series. Good feeling for the whole vehicle. I know exactly what it's doing. Yes, it is always a front wheel bias, but there were also power sent to the rear wheels, and it feels so balanced. Suspension really sporty and stiff. Wow, really precise out of the corners as well. Nice sound. It's of course enhanced here from the speakers on the inside, but on a dynamic scale here, this is awesome. Adaptive M suspension here, which is, as I said earlier, not adaptive in the sense that you can change it in the screen. And yeah, I'm easily catching up to the Porsche there in front of me. Of course, yeah, he's not driving that fast. Yeah, I mean, the suspension is very stiff, but here the road is quite good. So that's fine. That's a lot of fun and pretty cool. And yeah, the overall setup, I mean, you don't feel that you would be driving. I mean, I would rather feel driving like this one there in front of me. Is making space or what? Seems like. Probably wants to do some enjoy ride just with open top. Wow, overtaking process, a lot of fun. This is awesome. Again, the 20-inch wheels, suspension combo, really sporty and stiff, but for that here, it's ideal to do that. Woo! Yeah, but yeah, you feel that when now it's getting bumpy, and there it almost feels like you are being in an F1 car or something. So it will be really interesting, of course, how it will perform when we measure the comfort and stuff. But wow, the sporty side is just amazing. And also, if you compare the predecessor, this one here feels even sporty, although it is longer. It has a slightly longer wheelbase. Oh, maybe heard that a little bit pre-revving the vehicle or rev matching. But you can also use here the shifting pedals yourself, shifting up, shifting down. That's also a lot of fun. But I actually feel, I mean, the shifting pedals, they don't give you the best or most crucial feedback. I would say more feedback indeed you get from the turning indicators. That is a lot of fun. So to me, the turning indicators is one of the most fun things. You know, there is this meme that people always say BMW drivers don't hit the turning indicators. I'm not sure if it's true or not, but there is this, like this prejudice out there. But the thing is, probably they made like, hey, let's just make turning indicators so much fun that people will use them always, you know, and I can just stress that using the turning indicator here is so much fun, just really rocks. Well, and if you go back here, personal mode, normal shifting mode and so on, everything is really calmed down, more silent. Then you can enjoy also these curvy bends in a calm style, and I really love that. So also just in a normal driving mode here, the steering feedback is a little bit different, but still fine. The suspension, as I said, does not change. And as I said here, as long as the roads are really well done and nice and smooth, it's really all fine. But when it gets bumpy, then you saw that on, you know, on one part of the road already. When you have bumpy roads, it really gets very uncomfortable. So, and I would have wished a little bit more of both, you know, sportiness and comfort at the same time. But that's not happening here. So especially if you go here for the all-new X2 with the M Sport suspension, or if you are with the M Performance model here, you have to be aware of it is a very sporty vehicle and you will lose comfort. What could you do? Go for base spec. Don't go for the M suspension. Get smaller wheels. These are the main things you could actually do. The iX2 is also equipped with the adaptive M suspension and with the you know, the lowered body. So these ones here, sporty and the EV version, always have that, you know, that lowered suspension to give you a little bit more sportiness with the electric version because of the weight mainly. So it is so much fun, yes, definitely, but you always have to keep everyday comfort in mind. It is very silent though, you know, so the insulation for a compact vehicle is actually quite nice, and you have good overview still. So seating really depends on the materials and the sport or comfort seat if you pick, but that is the main thing with this vehicle. So about the suspension and the wheels, you really majorly decide from version to version or from trim to trim how sporty or how comfortable you set this vehicle. And now here, more motorway-esque road, also a little bit quicker, and cruise control set here also with the active lane keeping assist. You can see very smooth movements, of course still level 2, so you're supposed to keep your hands on the steering wheel, but it's also very well done. And from the rolling noise and wind noise here at about 80 kilometers an hour is also well done and quite. So which one would I buy? Well, in most cases I think it wouldn't be enough range for me, but it always depends on the use case. For the iX2, the X2 M35i, a little bit too rough I feel. So honestly, my configuration for today would be Brooklyn grey exterior, not the M Sport package, base, not the M Sport suspension, base suspension, getting a more smooth ride, and taking the 28i in the US or the 20i in Germany would be enough power in most cases and not as rough as the M35i. And then the Veganza seats on the interior as we've shown you with this very vehicle. Well, which one would you go for? Which configuration? Tell me in the comments and tune in to the X1 and the Mini Countryman.